we probably can start.
All right,
Right.
perfect. Yeah, so if everyone can mute themselves, that would be great. But I don't know if I've met you guys yet, but if I haven't, my name is Lauren Fieser. And I'm joined here today by Jin Shi and Vadim Aliyev. And I am, they're going to be on our panel in a little bit, but I'm going to quickly give you guys an overview of BDO, very high level. But before that, I want to introduce myself. So I am a campus recruiter at BDO. I recruit for all of our audit groups in the Northeast. And I've been with the firm for almost 4 years now. It's crazy. Time goes by so fast, especially COVID years. I feel like it's just kind of a blur. But I started my career in tax. I went to school at St. John's, went for a bachelor's in accounting, a master's in accounting. Started in tax, worked in the financial services group. And I did that for 4 years. And then I made the switch over to campus recruiting at BDO. So that's a little bit about me, but really excited to be here with you guys. And just to reiterate the structure here and the format of the session, I'm going to quickly give you guys an overview of BDO, and then we'll get into a Q&A with Jin and Vadim. So I've prepared questions to ask them. But as we go through this and you think of questions yourself, please write them in the chat, and we can hopefully get to them at the end. All right. So let's just quickly dive in here. So I don't know what you guys know about BDO, but BDO is the 5th largest accounting firm globally. And we have over 65 offices in the US, and we deliver audit, tax, advisory, and BDO digital services to clients throughout the globe. And we offer numerous industry specific practices that all have different internship and full-time opportunities across the country as well. So I want to quickly just go to that slide. So can you guys see that? So what's really cool about BDO and starting your career here is when individuals begin, they are not assigned to a particular industry track unless they are in a specialized business line. So on the contrary, we try to schedule them on different clients in different industries while working with different partners and managers, just to kind of give them that diverse experience. And this really gives new employees a chance to see many different aspects of public accounting. And then they can kind of decide for themselves if they have a preference on where they want to hone in. You know, you guys are students and you think you may know what you want to do, but you probably don't know until you try it. So we really want to give you guys that opportunity to get your hands in a bunch of different things before you kind of hone in and make a decision on where you want to kind of have that niche experience. So I think that's really special and unique to BDO. To help you get on that path that complements you the best, which will hopefully help you succeed in the long run. So to jump back into here, hold on a second, this main slide, something that is super important to me and really should be to you guys as well is the culture here at BDO. And it's what brought me here. It's what keeps me here. But at BDO, we have a big emphasis around our core culture pillar, which is people first. And we really strive to create a culture around helping people in and out of the office and giving back to our communities. And we do so by enforcing different initiatives here. For example, I'm going to go through these again, high level, but we have different wellness programs in place, which are designed to reduce stress in the workplace and improve overall well-being. We have weekly fun pop-ups during busy season too, like smoothie bars and breaks and espresso bars that are always fun to be a part of. We also have flex time. And this gives everyone the flexibility to create a schedule that really works best for them. So whether you are a working mom or whatever it may be, we want to accommodate your lifestyle and make sure you can not only thrive at work, but you can also thrive at home. We understand that if you are happy at home, you bring that happiness to the workplace, and we want to make sure that everyone feels like they're thriving in both places. We also have our community service initiatives through a program called BDO Counts. And this really gives each employee the opportunity to give back to their communities however they choose. So each office has their own BDO Counts representative, which is really cool because if you were a part of an initiative or something when you were growing up and it's something that's near and dear to your heart, and you see that BDO isn't a part of it, all you have to do is go to that representative and get BDO involved. And it's just a really great way to give back and get your peers involved and kind of bring home to the workplace as well. We also have a heavy emphasis on our diversity and inclusion groups. We have a ton of initiatives in place to help with diversity recruiting and a bunch of forums to kind of help voices be heard. And then last but not least, we have training and development programs in place to obviously foster your career growth with mentoring programs and mobility options. Which brings me to my last item here. I wanted to show you guys the typical career progression at BDO. I'm sure you guys have seen this before, but if you haven't, this is a traditional career to partner path. And this timeline can vary based on a bunch of different variables, but you will typically see that it takes 1 year to get to experienced associate. I would say 2 to 3 years to get to senior, 5 years to get to manager, 7 years to get to senior manager, and then 10 or so years to get to partner. So a lot of upward mobility and growth opportunities here. And then to just lastly sum this up here, you're probably wondering, okay, well, how do I get, if I'm an intern, how do I get to partner? It's going to take me 10 or so years, but who's going to help me along the way? And at BDO, we do a really good job with our mentorship programs. So when you're an intern and you start full-time out of college, you're going to have a buddy and you will also have a career advisor. And your buddy is going to be like your work best friend, right? They're going to be the person to kind of walk you through the day to day. Any sort of question you have, whether it's, hey, where's the bathroom? Or, hey, where's the coffee machine? That's going to be your buddy. Anything work related, again, buddy. But to ask just those normal questions like, hey, I couldn't find that. Where is that? Your buddy is going to be there to kind of guide you along the way. So you never feel like you're on an island alone, especially in this hybrid environment that we're in. And then you will also have a career advisor. A career advisor is going to be someone who's a little older. So usually a manager, a senior manager, or partner, and they're going to kind of be that one to take you to that next level. So help you prep for the CPA, help you get that promotion. So you will have people around you to kind of get you to the next step along the way. So to sum this all up, in my opinion, BDO overall is a very dynamic and entrepreneurial place to work. I will say that every voice is heard and you'll get a chance to work on many different projects and have your hands in things beyond your day-to-day. And your career will be what you make of it, of course, right? It's the same with school, but the opportunities are there and you will have support to get you along, to get you where you want to be along the way. But yeah, that about wraps it up at a very high level. And I want you guys to know that I'll give you my contact information. So if you have any questions, I would love to connect with you guys one-on-one. We can do a quick Zoom meeting whenever after this. It can be next week, whatever you guys want. I would love to talk in more detail. If you guys have any questions about anything at all, I would love to help. But that sums up my portion here. Very quick overview of BDO. But now I want to get into the panel session and the Q&A. And I think as students, it's really important to hear from professionals like Jin and Vadim to kind of help you guys understand and prepare as much as you possibly can for a career in public accounting. So let's get into it. Jin and Vadim, I think you're on the line. So if you guys can just quickly introduce yourselves and talk a little bit about what your group does, that would be great. Jin, we can start with you.
Sure, I'll start first. My name is Jin Jinshik. Some of you here probably know me because I'm currently taking a master program at Queen's College. Some of you here probably is my classmates. I've been with BDO over 7 years. Pretty much my whole career is in indirect tax for state and local. What my team is doing is for state and local tax, including all indirect tax, like including sales tax, use tax, hotel occupancy tax, commercial rent tax. Whenever it's not a part of income tax, then my team is in charge of that. What do we do on a daily basis is not just for compliance. Yes, we do file returns for the clients on a monthly basis, but also we represent clients, or sometimes we call taxpayers, in the audit defense, like to directly face with tax authorities like in New York State, California, you name it, all the state and the local tax authorities, for example, New York and New York City. And in addition to that, we also provide consulting services to identify taxable or non-taxable items, especially during a lot of merging and acquisition process. We do provide advice or consulting services to those clients. So pretty much when we talk about state and local tax, or to be more specifically for my team, sales and use tax, you will just look at anything not related to income tax. Yeah, that's pretty much what we do here.
That's awesome. Thank you, Jen.
Hey guys, how are you? So my name is Vadim. I'm a director at BDO. I also was a Queens College alumni, and like Jen, I did come back for my master's as well. I had a dual degree in accounting and economics, math minor. And after about a 10-year break, I came back for my master's in risk management. I will not age myself, but after 20 years of experience at various firms, where I started with my career at Big Four, at PwC, at KPMG. You know, I started my career at 15, but I did have experiences from Big Four, spanning across the firms, and then at some point I was at BDO. I went to a Big Four again, and then as a boomerang came back to BDO again. And I'll talk a little bit more about the culture at BDO and what really drove me to come back to BDO. But what I do at BDO is I am an assurance director who audits for financial services. Specifically, I concentrate on an insurance and banking industry. We have a range of sizes of the companies that we are auditing, mid-sized, large insurance and banking companies, both public and privately held. It is a little bit different from taxation, where we see a much bigger picture of the companies and operations. Again, it's also different from the bookkeeping and accounting, where you, instead of booking the entries yourself, you are reviewing things. So it's very different from other lines of service. But I would say the assurance practice is probably the most dominant among the bigger, larger CPA firms, where there is much bigger demand in terms of professionals, and also a career path that is described is more in line with the progression that you need to have for you to open up doors for you when you're ready, if you want to leave and join the private sector.
That's great. Thank you guys so much. That was a really good high-level explanation of what your groups do. So one question I have, and I think it's a really important one, is what brought you guys to BDO, and what do you love the most about working here? Vadim, I would love you to start, since you boomeranged, you went to KPMG, you came back. So what brought you back, and what keeps you here?
Sure. So I guess first off, why audit in the first place, right? I started just a little bit about that. So, you know, while I have both accounting and finance degrees, I did go into audit. One of the reasons was that an audit experience at that time was required for the CPA exam. So you once you pass the CPA exam, in order to certify it, you needed to have an adequate experience specifically in audit. But also in terms of what I like about audit, it gives a much higher, better overview of the industry where you're specializing in. instead of doing just the accounting for certain transactions, keeping books, or concentrating on one aspect, which is taxation, for instance, which in some respect might be deemed to be a little bit narrower. In audit, you get to see the entire operations of the company. You get to talk with the C-suite personnel, with the executives, with the board members, and then you can corroborate things with lower level staff, with the controller and his group. You would be interviewing operations and financial reporting people. You get to know and understand the company inside out. If somebody at the company of your client might know few things, you see the whole picture of the company. And with that, you can take that experience further, where you would be running a business, or you would be working on the inside of the company. But it really does give you a very good overview and preparation to understand what the company is all about, not just its bookkeeping aspect, not only financial reporting aspect, but also getting into the understanding of the sector itself. Why BDO for me? I view the BDO as a perfect size. We are number 5. We are the largest among the mid-size companies, right under the Big 4. I've been with Big 4 for a number of years. I've spent at PwC for 6 years. I've been at KPMG for 3 years, and the rest of my career was at BDO. I did come back after a break, and I realized something that was important to me. Our culture, people first, is not just a slogan. We actually do live this. You do feel a difference between the firms on how you connect with people and how people perceive you, and whether it's a dog type of environment versus a nurturing family type of environment. So that was very important to me. That's why I, even though I missed a lot of resources, a lot of checklists and guidance from the Big 4, which I would say they're probably at a little bit better spot at that. But at the end of the day, all of those resources are available here as well. We are growing, and we are in step with them. But the people first environment is a very important component if you are in this for the long haul.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Jen, what about you? What do you love most about working at BDO, and what brought you here?
I had some experience at a Big 4 as well. I used to years ago. I used to intern at a PwC, and I didn't enjoy it. I was not in an indirect tax team. I was in an income tax team. You know how the tax season, busy season, how busy it was. So that's why for me, I was like, I need some work and balance life here, work life and balance. I don't think I can deal with this in the long run. When I joined BDO, as Vadim mentioned, the BDO it's a big firm, quite big actually, but it still has the small firm environment. They care your people. They care what do you think. They hear what you're talking about. Especially if you're working in a team, you have very close team member relationship, and also you have very close relationship with your team leaders, not just with your managing directors, but also your team leader, your partner, your tax principal. They care what do you think. They care whether you are overwhelmed, whether you have overload by your projects, and you do definitely have a way much better work and life balance here. In addition, I do like our national training. We have national training in different cities. At a BDO, we have not just in one city, we try to alternate different cities for national training. That's one of the part I really enjoy. We've been to Dallas, we've been to Orlando, we've been to Tennessee, Nashville. We've been to quite a few cities for national trainings. That is what I quite enjoy. In addition, since we're a big firm, but we have the small firm environment. In the office, you will see, who you're working with, not just in your team, but also intercompany, cross-company, other teams like income tax, like audit team, like international tax team. We know who we're working for. It's easier. It's always easier to communicate when you know someone. And also maybe I'm just saying, give you a chance, like maybe I can rotate or I can change my role in the team. I want to learn income tax. I want to see what I have an opportunity in insurance company, a insurance team or audit team or even international tax team. That give you the opportunity here. That's what I really like and enjoy.
That's great. Thank you both. Those are really insightful answers. So one question, I think this is really important because like I said, I started my career in tax, moved over to campus recruiting, and there were things that I wish I knew then that I know now. So what advice would you have for your younger self when it comes to just everything in this industry, developing skills and networking and all of that? And how, yeah, let's start with that. What advice would you have for your younger self? Vadim, we can start with
Yeah,
you.
I'll go. So I was a good student. I wouldn't say that, always straight A, but I was very close at the top. But, technical skill is a very important part in our careers. You need to know what you're doing. Your analytical skills are very helpful. You need to be able to be quick on your feet to get through and understand things and be clicking it all the time and know how to work through Excel formulas or understand the debits and credits. These are very important skills, but those are also skills that you can learn over time on the job. I would say the more important component in what I do, for instance, is we need to write a lot. As an accountant, you might think that it's all about numbers. It's really not. It's not that much about numbers. It's more about how well can you present your case in writing, and also how well you can present your case as a spoken language, right? You need to have very good interpersonal skills. You need to be able to connect with people and network with people. So those soft skills are probably the more important skills. And I would say it's not just because I'm already a director that I feel that it's a very essential for me. That sort of skill is important from the first step when you enter the job. When I, for instance, started at PwC, I was very scared to pick up the phone and to call a client. For me, it was a big deal to prepare myself and just to dial a number. Oh my God, they didn't pick up, and just drop the phone. All right, I did my job. It's all about connecting and be able to easily discuss things. And it doesn't matter if it's a client who is a controller or local staff or higher up, or even if it's a partner that you're discussing with. Those skills are probably the most important things. And if I had to go back to experience a little bit more in terms of classes, I would take more writing skill classes, more speech classes, and concentrate on developing the network that I needed to have so that I would start my networking and business development activities way earlier. By the way, I do want to add to what Jen said in terms of the size of the company as well. BDO is a number 5, large mid-size. A lot of times people forget, and sometimes even the regulators are not aware of, but the company is an international company. We have operations, we have BDO offices all around the world. Some of my engagements that I've been on, we collaborated and had a group reporting where other offices like BDO UK, BDO Sweden, BDO Germany were involved in audit process where we communicated with them. And we also, there are opportunities to travel internationally as well as an auditor. I've been to Bermuda maybe 30 times on client business. So there are, exciting things that are in the profession as well.
Well, that sounds awesome. I want to go to Bermuda 30 times.
I know, right? Vadim, how come I only go to like a Rochester, Syracuse, all the cold places in wintertime, and you go to a nice warmer place? Yeah, I've been to
Yeah.
Rochester for climb meeting for so many times. I'm like, oh my God, really? Again in
Yeah.
Rochester?
When I was telling that to all my friends there, they would say, well, what is it, working in Bermuda?
Is your
It
team still
sounds like an
hiring?
oxymoron, right? It doesn't connect.
I
Work
know.
in relaxation type of place.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah. So
so for
Jen,
me, I
what
think,
advice? Oh yeah.
absolutely agree, 100% agree that you need to develop your soft skills, not just definitely the communication, not just writing, but also speaking. Like as Vadim mentioned, like as a accountant, it doesn't matter what team you are. You don't just do calculation. You just don't do spreadsheet only. You communicate with your clients on a daily basis. You email them. A lot of times you need to prepare draft a memo for your senior manager, for your director, and also not just or memo, or sometimes you need to draft an email. Some of you probably in our communication class, you already know the professor asks you, okay, draft an email on behalf of your partner. That's pretty much what we do all the time. So your writing skill is very crucial to be successful at a firm. It doesn't matter at what firm. It could be big four, it could be mid-size, regardless. But that's very important. Another thing that if telling when I'm younger, I would know, I would say maybe try to get a more internship opportunities while you're still in school. Don't rush to graduate because I know a lot of students here, they probably like, I want to graduate in 3 years. I just want to focusing on my academic work. I want to get an all straight A. Sometimes your internship, what do you show on your resume is very important as well. Because when you send out your resume, what do we first look? We'll look at, okay, what do you've done? What do you have interned before? Whether you have any solid experience or all you did is just study, no work experience at all. We do consider those things. So a lot of students say, hey, I'm going to graduate this semester or I'm going to graduate next semester. If you haven't got any solid internship, maybe think about it. Postpone your graduation a little bit late, like one more semester or 2 more semesters, so you still have a chance to get your internship. And also, if you graduated from a bachelor degree or you want to, I would say, go pursue your master degree. Let's finish this at one shot. You don't want like us, like after 10 years, after 20 years, you go back to school. It's definitely harder. You need to work full time, and you still need to make sure you study. And it's compared to you're just students at school, it's different. And also your mindset is different as well. And then another thing is network. Try to go to your accounting society or any taxation society as much as you can. Talk to those professionals. Let them know what you're interested in, and also broaden your horizon to see what you can learn at those society, at those events. Because I know a lot of students at school, they only know audit, they only know tax. But when I talk to them, so what tax, what audit, what team? They don't know the details. A lot of times tax, we have international tax, merger acquisition, sales and use tax, indirect tax, income tax, federal tax. So what tax you're talking about? Maybe do some research on the side of school time and try to learn, okay, what are you interested in? For me personally, I'm interested in indirect tax because I just don't think I can handle taxes every year. But then then you will know, you want to know when you do interview, you want to know, okay, what tax they're talking about and what I can prepare myself. How can I answer those questions? So just broaden your horizon a little bit to learn a little bit more, and will definitely help you in the future.
Thank you, Jen. Those were really insightful answers. And you guys are both really successful. Jen, you're a senior manager in our SALT group, and Vadim, you're a director. So you guys kind of touched on this, but how did you guys get to where you are now, and who kind of helped you along the way? Vadim, we can start with you.
So we are talking about the ladder, right? I mean,
yeah.
with the ladder, it's the normal way, step by step, climb and chip away at things. I was a good student. I dedicated professional. I did, like I said, I did make a few lateral moves, but I would say that this is not something that really propels your career. You can have lateral moves sometimes to just change it up a little bit to experience other things. But what I do feel like over the long term, the hard work that you put in, you can reach any milestone. Really, you just be always available to help out, be always willing to listen and to participate in an engagement that you're asked to help out on. And that way you're going to develop good connections. You'll establish yourself as somebody that's dependable. And once you're dependable and people view you as a resource, as a value added resource, as a go-to person, you will go and progress, regardless if you jump around from place to place or stay in one place and you just chip away at your milestones. You'll get there. A lot of times it does depend not only on your skill but also who you know, in terms of how you connect with people. In my career, I had people that I developed very good relationship. The manager likes me, the manager admires me, and tries to put you on all engagements. But those people also leave. You develop a great relationship, and they're your biggest defender. They're promoting you everywhere. But at the same time, if they leave, you need to establish yourself with somebody else. So I would say what matters in this case is to make sure that you establish for yourself good coaches and advisors around you, that you're visible in front of them, and that would help propel your promotions and your development. That way you're known in the group, you're known in the in the industry, and things will happen.
Definitely agree. Make yourself available, work hard, and a lot of times I would say, give yourself a little bit more time. I know we all know that there's a high turnover at an accounting firm, public accounting firm. But then again, if you don't even stay here, why? How would you expect yourself to be promoted? Give yourself some time. Try to get used to challenging yourself. Take some projects maybe other people don't want to take. Some project, not everybody got a nice, sweet, smooth projects. Maybe make yourself available. Say, hey, I'll give it a try. People all also make mistakes. We all make mistakes, but you only learn from those mistakes. You don't grow and learn from mistakes. From only doing perfect projects, and also be a little bit more confident. Try to say you are driven. You're determined to be successful. At a public accounting firm. Don't just say, I'll just work here for 3 years to get my experience, I'm gonna go. Then with that mindset, you will never be successful at anywhere. Doesn't matter where you are, regardless of corporation or accounting firm. So always I say, not just give yourself some longer term opportunity, but also give BDO an opportunity to stay here a little bit longer, to see whether you can be successful here, to see whether you can be promoted here. Make BDO or make any places as your long-term career place. I understand, like in a long run, like in general, statistically saying, people change 4 or 5 times jobs in their whole lifetime. But maybe when you just graduate from school, try to stay at a place a little bit longer, instead of just jump the ship, put all the experience on your resume. It doesn't look good on your resume either. Human resource or a manager will look at your resume saying, hey, this person only stay at every place only a year or 2 years, then they just leave. Why should we hire someone like this if they don't even plan to stay here longer? Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people really think about that, because what I've seen, I've talked, it's people just say, okay, I'm just gonna stay here for 3 years to learn my experience, get my experience, I'm gonna go. I personally, I don't appreciate that. I don't think you trust yourself to stay here longer. I don't think you are being fair for your employer, for any places you work for. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think that we really say it out loud, but you sort of do have a prejudgment whenever you see somebody jumping every year from one place to another. That there might be some underlying conditions there, that a person might not be able to stick at one place because they're just don't have the skill, or something is off there. The longer you stay, the more you show that you're dependable and you're able to get through things. One other thing that I did want to add was also, do not be satisfied with the status quo. Always get out of your comfort zone. Whatever assignment you have, always look for something that is a little bit more challenging so that you can actually grow.
That's really good advice.
And don't forget,
amazing.
tax world is very small. If you keep jumping, eventually the entire industry will know you. Yeah, seriously, we all know each other. You don't want to keep jumping just for money wise, or for any, it's like, oh, that team sounds better, I'm gonna try that one, or that firm sounds better, I'm gonna try that firm. Eventually we'll know. Yeah, it doesn't matter your position. You could be an intern, you could be associate, you could be a manager, but we'll know.
It's a small world out there.
Yeah,
Especially in
it's a small
accounting.
word.
Somehow,
Exactly.
somewhere, you guys all know each other. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
It's been amazing advice. And in regards to jumping around, or it's also, being available up for the challenge. You have to challenge yourself. Ask yourself, how far can I do it? We all are capable of a lot of different things. It's just, as Vadim said, don't get settled, don't get too comfortable in your position.
Absolutely.
And then if you are probably, and you will probably agree, if you are taking it on a new project or making yourself available, make sure that you go all the way and you not drop it, so to say, or leave it, or put all your effort into it, 110%. And this is also what's going to be looked at your performance and everything. So not just saying, oh yeah, I'm available, but make sure that you are follow up all the way.
Exactly.
Yep.
And also, I think it's easy to feel insecure, especially when you're young, like, oh, I don't know if I have, the knowledge to do this. But I think just stay confident in yourself and you guys can absolutely do it.
Yeah, there's always a mentor. I mean, when I was a Markham, so there's always a mentor, a supervisor. Don't be afraid to ask questions. That's why people are there. That's why you're being paired up with someone at the company.
Mm-hmm.
So take advantage of those resources. Don't go for every other question, so to say. First do your research, and then if you think you're stuck and can get anywhere, then yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
All right. So I have a question that I'm sure the students are wondering. So Vadim, we can start with you here again. Can you realistically describe the busy season? What can these students expect?
Well, from one sense, I don't even know if there is such a concept still retains as a business season, because busy season, for me, feels lately as the whole year round. There's of course accounting busy season where you have a certain milestone, a certain deadline for the taxes, but a tax deadline could be a different deadline, right? You have for corporate taxes, you have for your personal taxes and extensions, whatnot. Same thing with the audit as well. We have various deadlines on our engagements. Whether if it's public engagement, it's a very short timeline. We have 2 months after the year end to get through everything, and somehow you need to survive and get through that. But then there is a deadline after deadline on other things. So it's all in the way of trying to manage the schedule and make sure that you're able to handle all of that. Remember that it's not that you're not alone in that, right? When you're going through the busy season, you should be able to be comfortable enough to speak up and say that I am handling the next number of clients. This is what's on my to-do list. I cannot handle an additional one, or I need to unload one of those items because I cannot concentrate and still continue with the great quality that I desire to have on that particular client. You know, I know that bigger firms usually are great at that. Maybe when we get to a much smaller firm, it's basically, blood from the nose, get it done. The deadline is there, and you need to finish this. Otherwise, there's nobody else to help out, unless you go out and hire an assistant. But in a bigger firm, we have the resources, we have people that can help out, and sometimes we feel that you're all alone on this, and you're the only one that can do that. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't think that you're the only thing in the universe. There is other people that can be assigned and help out during the BS crunch. And the difference is, are you able to raise that voice properly enough so that you're not just saying that, hey, I don't want to do the work, but yes, I'm doing the work. There is, the quality is there. We are putting in the hours, but we need assistance. Otherwise we're going to miss the deadline. So, and with that, leadership is always eager to help out. I'll tell you, just as an example, I was on a large accelerated filer, large, big public company, and the national was killing us with their ways of checking how we are doing in terms of quality, checking and rechecking. And the company went through business combination. They went through adoption of a new complex standard, and we were just getting running out of time. I spoke with the leadership. I spoke with the managing partner. The managing partner got in touch with his superiors. They brought in a horde of people to help out, and not just associates. They brought managers, they brought partners. Everyone huddled up and made it happen so that we are on time. So that's busy season is horrendous, right? But I think it's not just accounting. I think it's everywhere. Everything is deadline driven. Everything is high pace, and things need to get done. It's just the matter is how you will manage this, and will you be open to ask for help in the proper way, or are you just gonna sulk and cry about it?
Yeah, that's really good advice. Jen, how would you describe the tax busy season? Because it is a little different from the audit.
Yeah, our team is quite unique. We don't really have tax season because we don't really deal with the federal income tax like due by March 15, April 15, or September, August. However, we do have our own deadline for compliance work every month on a monthly basis for indirect tax filing. And also, as Vadim mentioned, it's by project driven. A lot of times, if there's an urgent project that you really need to stay late, you got no choice. You have to stay late because you don't want the whole company, your clients, it's being sold and waiting for your tax quantification from your team, and you're like, nope, I can deal with this. This is not our tax season. No, it's really based on your project and whether you're willing to work a little bit longer time sometimes. And also, as like all team members, we appreciate your effort, and at the same time, we recognize your effort, because if a lot of times if we say a team member work really long on this project or really put on work on weekend, a lot of times we'll say, hey, why don't you take some days off next week, or why don't you take some days off after this project? We recognize your effort, we recognize your contribution. So it's not just that you are the only one here working longer. The whole team's it's here for you. I think that's important.
Yeah, that's great. So we have 10 minutes left. I have one more question, and then there are 2 questions in the chat. But my question for you guys is, for students who are taking accounting classes now, but are concerned because they're like, I don't know much about auditing or tax. How do you guys train new employees, and what kind of expectations do you have for interns and new associates coming out of college? Vadim, we can start with you.
Yeah. So from the training perspective, there's plenty of training. There's, I would say, I never had trouble keeping up with my CPE credits for CPA, just because the training that is pushed out to us is so diverse and so much. Sometimes you feel that it's a little bit too much. So we do have extensive 2-week training for the staff that there are specific items that are assigned that you can go through on your own, by watching webcasts, watching things that were pre-recorded. There are live courses for, in terms of technical items like how to use the audit tool, for instance, or the tools that are specific to your line of work. But we also have trainings that are national based training that we teach, not only in terms of the line of work that we do, but also specific to the industry that you need to know in order to succeed in your job. Lately, I would say in the last couple of years, because of COVID, a lot of that was remote. But even with that, we were able to maintain our CPEs and do live webcasts, just like what we have right now. We would have a training that is taught either by a local resource or national guidance guru. So there are plenty of those trainings, and when pre-COVID, and I'm sure this is going to be after all of this is settled, we'll continue to have those that are national based trainings. Like it was amazing times when they would close out National Smithsonian museum in DC and just have it all open to BDO people for dinner and training. It was amazing things. Like they've done that at Orlando, where they closed off one of the parks just for BDO personnel. There were initiatives like that where you'd go to an amazing place where you can enjoy yourself a little bit, but at the same time meet people and train on how to do what you need to do. But one thing also not to discount, on the job training is also important. We provide a lot of coaching on the job. So right before you start the assignment, the objectives will be discussed with you. You will be paired up with a senior or somebody that is an experienced staff that will be explaining to you how things are done and what you need to do in terms of procedures, what you need to look up, whether it's prior year work papers, whether it's additional research or just looking at specific information the client is providing. But you'll be paired up with somebody, and you can certainly learn from them. One thing that made it easy for all of us is this sort of Microsoft Teams type of environment, or the Zoom environment, where you can easily just show the work paper, what you're working on, or and ask questions. I had my staff share a screen throughout the day with me so that I can see what they're working on. If they have questions, they can actively ask questions and clarifying information so that we can discuss real time. So all of that on the job type of learning is probably even more important than just listening to a webcast.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think it's hands-on and in the field training. It's definitely going to be the best training you're going to get, but we obviously have the resources to kind of get you up to speed before we throw you out there. So one question that Gabriel had, he asked, how have you handled an upside down day that may have not gone as planned? So I'm sure you guys have had many of these days. So how do you handle them and how do you move forward? Jen, we can start with you.
I curse. I do, and a lot of times, if it's really messy, a lot of times I do take a break. I try to take a walk a little bit around the office or from my house, since we're all working from home right now. But I think then the next thing is, after I curse, after I walk around, I need to calm down to really analyze what's going on here, why we have these issues, how we can avoid in the future, and whether we can talk to our team members who are on this project or on this the whole client, what's going on, try to find a reason why we have such issues here, just to fix it, admit the mistake and then fix it. I think that's the best way, instead of finding all the excuses, tell the client we don't know what's going on, we have no idea. No, I think it's better, it's always better just to face the error, face the mistake, and tell the client, be honest, tell the client what's going on, what we can do, what we can fix, and what other services that we can bring in here.
That's really good advice. Vadim, what about you?
I don't curse, but that there's plenty of frustration that could happen. I think one thing that we all try to do for ourselves is to find your unagi, where you can just disconnect a little bit and just like Jin said, have a walk, refresh yourself, because especially when the temperature is hot and you just got something either as a feedback or additional assignment, or we don't realize that sometimes we might feel pressure and we feel that the day is going upside down, and when you take a break and you come back, and for that I actually got a dog so that I can just walk a little bit, and just disconnect a little bit. You come back to that same email and you take a look at that and say, it was not much. Or the review note, well, your boss is asking a simple question for clarification. It's not that there's any judgment, and you might have initially thought that it was, but when you reread that and you feel like, okay, he's just doing his job, he's asking a question, so that he knows when to review. Did you do this and this? He's trying to assess when he will be getting to that item to review that. And it's not like he's asking and pressuring you, but actually he's trying to manage his own schedule, right? So those things are important. You don't rush to respond. Don't rush to explain yourself, but just disconnect for 5 minutes, take fresh air, come back, reread the question. Most of the time when I did that, it turned out to be, oh, it's not a big deal. Like, why did I feel that he's judgmental? He was not. It was just, he's just doing his job.
Yep, that's one piece of advice I remember getting. Someone once told me, never react on emotion, because it's quick to be like, ah. So definitely take those breathers, walk away, step away from it, stew it over, and then come back to it. And usually, it was an overreaction on your part.
Exactly. Because when you're emotional, a lot of times when you send out an email, the tones or the words you choose may not be that nice.
All right.
Yeah. So just disconnect yourself for a few minutes, or just calm down a little bit. Then maybe we'll sleep on that and respond the next day.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't want to end up with going to HR for cursing somebody out.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, listen, I want to be mindful of everyone's time here. Jin and Vadim, this was amazing. You guys gave us so much great advice, even for myself listening in. This was awesome. So for all the students, I hope this was insightful and we gave you a little glimpse into BDO, but also just gave you good practical advice. In terms of recruiting, so right now we are recruiting for our 2023 internships. So if you are graduating with your 150 in 2024, you are eligible for these internships. So I put my email in the chat. Please email me with your resume and I'll walk you through the steps on how to apply. But this was great. I hope you guys enjoyed it.